like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put it in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Noble Young in the building. We have Measured Man in the building. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Measured Man. This is a good point. Has anyone informed Joe Biden that he's out of the race? Joe Biden probably woke up yesterday like, who said I was out of the race? I'm still running. Joe Biden, I like I said, I think the Democrats are doing a disservice to the American public, the American people. Democrats wanted Joe Biden. They wanted the people that went out to vote in the primaries. They elected Joe Biden. And now you did a old and bait switch. What is it called? Flip and bait switch or whatever. Switch and bait type of switch. You know, that country saying that they say. They did that to the American people. And like I said, if I was a Democrat, I would be mad as hell. Especially if I voted for Joe Biden in the primaries. This is basically unconstitutional. It goes against the Constitution. Now, who will be the nominee for the Democratic Party? It wouldn't be, it's not up to the public anymore. It's up to the senators and the representatives or the delegates or whatever. It's up to them. Those people are going to nominate him. And whoever's saying, oh, I'm standing behind that nomination of Kamala Harris or whoever they're choosing, it still would not be chosen by the American people. This is the banana republic. This is not democracy. And for people, Democrats, to always stress, oh, this is an existential threat to our democracy. They sure do not know how to be Republic or Democratic. They don't know anything about democracy. They lied. They lied to the American people. We knew they were lying because it was right in our face about Joe's mental acuity. We knew he was not fit to actually run for office or actually to be the actual president of the United States. Measure Man is from Houston, Texas. Joseph King, what is good with you? I'm from Wisconsin. The okie doke Measure Man. Yeah, you're the old bait and switch. Yeah. Bait and switch. That is absolutely correct. There's a couple of posts I want to share with you. And to me, you know, it's sad that I'm not a Joe Biden's fan, but I really think I think it's just not fair. I think it's not fair, not for Joe Biden. It's not fair to the American people. I don't think Joe Biden knows what's going on. It's not fair to the American people, the people who was trying to elect him or elected him in the primaries. They voted for him in the primaries. So Joe Biden came out with this letter. He came out with this letter. Let me make sure you guys can see it. And this was written yesterday. It said, to my fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, I'm not reading it. I think it's full of lies, number one. Let me just preface that before I read this statement. I think it's full of lies. I don't think Joe Biden wrote this letter, but I'm reading it so you can know it was written by somebody. I don't think it was written by Joe. Anyway, today America has the strongest nation, strongest economy in the world. No, we don't. No, stop lying. We made historic investment. We have the strongest inflation in the world. That's what we could say about America right now as it stands. In rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drug costs for the seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to record numbers of Americans. We provided critically needed care to millions of veterans exposed to toxic substances. I think they're just making shit up as they go. Who cares? Who cares if you're helping veterans to expose to toxic substances when they're homeless? Majority of the homeless people are veterans. You guys let me know if I'm wrong. They probably second homeless person in America, if not the first. Anyway, so passed the first gun safety laws in 30 years. I don't know what about that. Appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. Who cares? Who cares if she's a nut job? She doesn't know what a woman is, so we don't care. And passed the most significant climate legislation in the world of the history of the world, which is crippling your U.S. auto companies. Yeah, you did all this, but you're killing the U.S. economy. Okay, and America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. They don't look at us as leaders. I told you weeks ago that Russia and China is practicing military drills together. And I think it's in Jamaica, of all places, or somewhere down south in the south, or I guess on the equator or the hemisphere. They're practicing drills to China and Russia. So what are we saying here? Anyway, I know none of this could have been done without you and the American people together. Together, we overcame once in the century of a pandemic and worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We protected and preserved our democracy, and you're destroying it right now because they elected you thinking you were fit for office, and you're totally disregard the millions of people that voted you in the primary because you're the only one that had a fighting a chance against Donald Trump, really. That won't look, that if they didn't cheat, that's why I believe they cheated the last election. If they didn't cheat, Joe Biden was the only person that would actually have a fighting chance against Donald Trump in 2024. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm just trying to read his signing off letter. And we are revitalized and strengthened our alliance around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it's best interest of my party and my country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more details about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who worked so hard to see me reelected. And I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and the trust you have placed in me. I believe today, what I always have, there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. These lines are so true. The last few sentences, power to Joe Biden. That's so true. But the rest of this crap was full of lies. He's done this really, but did it really help the economy? We are not the greatest, strongest nation in the world. Matter of fact, several countries are talking about not having the U.S. dollar as their dollar, as the benchmark for currency, backing their currency. They usually back the U.S. dollars for other currency. They're not doing that anymore. We got shit currency, what we would call it fiat currency. Fiat currency is literally shit currency. Anyway, Joe Biden is stepping down. And so, people were mad about that. Mad about this. People feel betrayed. You have some Democrats that are coming out and they feel betrayed. You even have some Democrats going on news crying, i.e. Van Jones. Now, can somebody tell me why the hell Van Jones is crying? This is not your decision. Joe Biden is stepping down and retiring. I said it last week. Joe Biden, he just needs to retire. It's essentially now what Jill Biden and Hunter Biden is doing to him is elder abuse. He just needs to step down and retire. He served the country 50 years. Whether you like it or not, what he did, he actually fulfilled his duty, quote unquote. So he gave the country 50 years. Let the man retire. But they could not let the man retire because Kamala Harris, she doesn't have a chance in hell to beat Joe Biden. Or no, Donald Trump. So she doesn't have a chance in hell. When she ran for the primary, she had to drop out before she even got to Iowa. I don't know if you guys remember that. She had to drop out because she couldn't beat Joe Biden. Anyway, so
Somebody that you love. This is somebody that
Van Jones is mad. I don't know if he's upset because Joe Biden dropped out or because I really don't know. I don't know because why are you crying over a man that decided to drop out and it's his life? It's like you guys as Democrats, you should have been molding candidates to take his place. But you guys are all about DEI and all this stuff, and you don't really focus on what is needed. You're the worst project management people in the history of the United States. You don't have any foresight. You can't foresee the future. United States is a business, and if you can't conduct it as a business, when a CEO drops out, you have to be wondering, hey, okay, if this person is gone, who will we usher in as the next leader? You knew Joe Biden was 81 before he got 81. You knew 3 years ago, if Joe Biden didn't die, he was going to turn 81. So this is what Van Jones was crying about. Don't understand why, but he was crying.
even people who are pushing for this to happen, it's kind of like when your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys, you got to take his keys, you got to, and he's fighting and everybody's so frustrated, and then you finally get the keys back, and then you just cry. Because this is somebody that you love. This is somebody that you care about. This is somebody who was there for you. This is somebody you wouldn't be here without him. And you had to take something from him. Now, this is
Van Jones, you will be here without Joe Biden. Can anybody tell this black man, more likely he has a black mother and black father? I don't know much about the guy, but why the hell is he crying? This is the same guy that was crying when the January 6th happened. Same guy crying on national TV. If I was a black man, I would feel totally embarrassed because he represents black men around America. Grow a pair, Van Jones. Grow a pair. Usually when something happens in the business, you don't just start break down and crying. No, you don't. It's not you don't start break down and crying because someone said, oh, I'm about to retire. And so you start breaking down and crying? Really? And you got 330 million people that's in the United States. 500, look, we have 500 people that's in legislation. Somebody will lead the free world. Life goes on after Joe. Joe is not your actual grandpa.
not, look, this politics is politics, but this is a human moment for one of the great humans in America. This is a huge moment for him, for his family, for all of us who love him, for all of us who wanted him to get across the finish line. But if you're a young person watching this, this is leadership. This is patriotism. This is what it means to put the country first and put the party first and put the cause first. When your arm gets tired, you let somebody else finish pitching the game. That's what Joe Biden has done, and he's done that for all of us. And so I just want to say, I don't know who's going to be the VP, the non-VP. I don't know anything about politics. I just know that I love this man. I care about this man. It was painful every day to sit up here and talk about him like he's just a, some problem for the party. Wait till we get.
He is a problem for the party. That he was. He was a problem for the party. And it sounds like Van Jones doesn't know how to separate reality from feelings. Okay? Reality from feelings. Okay? I'm glad you love Joe Biden, the guy who locked up more black men in America than the history of all America. You love that guy. I'm glad you love him. I'm glad you love the guy that did the eulogy of a KKK leader. I'm glad you love that guy. So, but you can't accept this is reality. Joe Biden has dementia or whatever brain degenerative disease that he has. So separate the two. And you shouldn't be online or CNN, national news, mainstream media crying about that.
To the convention, you're going to see people crying, standing, screaming, cheering. He may not get a chance to talk for 10 minutes. We finally get a chance to put our arm around this guy. He did the right thing for this country. He did the right thing for this party. All of us are going to be in this situation someday. And I hope that we take a moment to honor this man and to love this man. I love Joe Biden. I appreciate what he's done. And a lot of people are heartbroken today. Even if it's the right thing, it's still just horrible.
Number one, it's really not the right thing. They should have did this prior to him running in the primaries. They should have built up a candidate to present to in all the Democrats that want to vote just blindly Democrats. They should have had a candidate in mind, and Joe Biden should have endorsed them. But this is classic Democrat. They said they believe in democracy and they don't, because the nominee that they will appoint during the DNC will not be the people, the choice of the people. It'll be some random person. You guys, what time is it? It is July the 22nd at 1:34 p.m. Kamala Harris, even though she raised 60 million last night or whatever million last night, she's not going to be the nominee, you guys. They're not going to nominate her. Then y'all going to be mad about that. They're not going to nominate Kamala. Kamala doesn't have the oomph to get across the finish line. If they nominate Kamala, I will be very surprised. Anyway. Jake Jones says Crying Negro Network. That's it. Crying Negro Network. Yeah, Van got house Negro syndrome. Measure Man, thank you for the super chat. People do need to understand, even though U.S. is a country, America is a country, it is also a business. It is a business. It's a business, so you can't take it personal, and they're going to operate it as such. Corporate America, i.e. deep state, that's the people who's running, pulling the strings. I believe since Donald Trump assassination did not turn out the way they wanted to turn out, the next thing was we need to get Joe Biden sick. And remember, Joe Biden, he put a statement out there. He said the only way I would drop out if God told me to drop out, or if I get some type of illness or disease. And look, 2 to 3 days later, he had COVID. And remember last week, I said, hey, a little birdie told me Joe Biden will be dropping out by this weekend. And look, Saturday, he dropped out. What's going on, Stephen Nimley? Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so that was that. Van Jones crying, blah, blah, blah. Van Jones was so upset. Now, Joe Biden, of course, he has endorsed Kamala Harris to be the nominee. He has endorsed Kamala Harris to be the nominee, and people went crazy. Now, you have some people like Charleston White saying he would never vote a woman in, and he called them the B word. Don't agree with it. I actually, to be truthful and honest, at who was it? Hillary Clinton ran for office. I actually voted for Hillary Clinton. No shade on Donald Trump. I just thought Donald Trump wasn't really serious about it. I really do think Donald Trump didn't think he had the capacity to win. Reason why I voted Hillary is because I thought she was, the best woman for the job or the best man for the job. And then she would have, some people in her ear that was very experienced, i.e. her husband. Anyway, so no shade on women, but I think Kamala Harris will be a horrible, horrible president because I don't think she has the brain capacity. I don't think she has the brain capacity to be the president. This is what they want to pick.
Been doing in that time is every day.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. To see what can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
To see what can be unburdened by what has been. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time. Okay, so do the salt and pepper all over, just lather that baby up, right? And then get a nice big bottle of cheap white wine to baste with butter. Yes, hi.
And as always, Wakanda forever.
This is who they want to usher in to lead us. Kamala Harris had one job. It was the border security. She actually went to an extent to lie about it. When the news reporter asked her, has she visited the border? And she said, yes, I have. Then she retracted her statement in the same interview and said, no, what are you talking about? No, I haven't. Like, what are you saying? You had one job and that was the border. And she did that horribly. Look at the border. And this is what they want to usher in. Another video.
I want to welcome these leaders.
This is so wild to me. None of these leaders, I guess, are they blind? But this is how she introduced herself.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
you're the vice president of the United States. Black woman threatened Joe Biden to nominate a woman as his second. Remember back in 2020, they threatened him. If you don't nominate a woman as your second, a black woman, we're done with you, Joe. And what did Joe put his tail between his legs and he nominated a woman? The same woman that called him racist on the debate stage. This is the same woman that hated Joe Biden. Same woman. Months after he nominated her as his VP pick. And black women all around the world, or all around the US, they want you to garner their support for Kamala Harris. Okay? Kamala Harris. Now you have to hear from Judge Joe Brown. I was in a room yesterday and Judge Joe Brown was talking about Kamala Harris because he's from the same stumping ground Kamala Harris is in California. And he just expressly said, hey, only reason why we know Kamala Harris is because she was on her knees with the mayor. A married man. She had an affair. That's the only reason why we know of Kamala Harris today. She slept her way to the top. This is Judge Joe Brown.
Imhoff in there. You know who Imhoff is?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name,
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's got 2 Jewish children she adopted. She married a Jewish husband who's got a interesting.
I'm scared to talk about Kamala Harris. I'll let you have that one.
No, she's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she fucked her way to the top.
Oh, Lord.
They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapades. She fucked damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat hoe when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know,
I ain't got nothing to do with this, Miss Harris.
No, I mean, well, don't. But she's
I don't know. I'm just listening.
Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, said at the governor.
So in this particular podcast, Judge Joe Brown, he continued to say he sat at the desk or at a event with her father, and her father said, no, Kamala does not have any Black American roots. All her roots extend in Jamaica or India, Southeast Asia. She's not what a quote unquote Black America. I'm not going to get in a worldwide debate whether or not Jamaicans believe that they're Black or not. I think if you identify as being Black and you have Black skin, okay, I guess. But Democrats, they don't care. As long as you feel like it on the inside, that's okay for her to identify. But these foundational Black Americans, they're really pissed about it. So you have rapid fire on Twitter saying Kamala Harris is not Black. She's not a Black woman. So they need to stop saying that. They need to stop saying that. Now, here's another meltdown. I had to share this with you guys. Okay, so Biden dropped out of the race and people were melting down. You had Van Jones, and this is some random person on the internet. I guess this is TikTok. And he was, I don't know if this is a he or she, but this person had a worldwide meltdown of Joe Biden dropping out.
He dropped out! He dropped out! Joe Biden, please! Gen Z, we need to band together. Please. He was for Gen Z's first president. dropped out.
Can we say this is what is going on here? What is going on here? So, you have people having their mental breakdowns. We haven't heard anything from your girl, what is her name? Joy Reid, because she said it was totally ridiculous that Joe Biden would drop out. It was nonsense. It was nonsense that people were calling him to drop out and saying to drop out. Okay, but back to Kamala Harris, you have people posting, "I'm a true Black American woman, and I would not be voting for Kamala Harris." Okay, even on Facebook, I seen that they posted where Kamala Harris had this, and I don't know if she arranged it, but they had what is it called? A stream last night, and you could join over the phone. And that's where she raised the $60 million or close to $60 million for her campaign. It said, let me just share this with you. This is from one of the girls that I follow on Facebook. She said 35,000 women on this Black woman for Kamala Zoom call. So they had a Zoom call and somebody said it was 40,000. And like that was yesterday. Actually, my cousin, she sent me the link and I was thinking like, I'm not joining that. I should have just to see what they was talking about, but no, I didn't join it. And but they raised 40 or $60 million. And you have Black women saying, "Hey, call your boyfriends, call your husband, Black woman. We're going to stand behind this Black woman and support her. We're going to get her elected." But this is how Democrats do not accept reality. They're not accepting reality because Kamala Harris is one of those people, nobody likes her. Her own party doesn't like her. If they give them a better choice, they will pick the other choice because she's not the better choice. And this is what I'm saying. Stop. We rallying, we getting all excited, and I'm specifically talking about to the Black women. You're getting all excited about this Black, quote unquote, Black woman running for office. 24 hours ago, you were excited about Joe Biden, talking about that's your president. And it was visibly known that Joe Biden had problems. You were willing to vote him in. So why should I trust you? Why should I say, oh, they're right? Let me get behind Kamala Harris. You were willing to vote a dementia person in office to run the country. You ignored all the signs saying, "Oh, no, Joe Biden's my president. Ain't nothing wrong with him." Van Jones on there crying. You have Roland Martin. "Y'all sound ridiculous. Y'all think Joe Biden go drop out of office?" Just coonish behavior. And you want us to follow you. You want to lead the American people, usher into a progressive, I guess, promised land. And you don't use your mental acuity to make sound decisions. You don't know how to separate reality from la la land. It's really ridiculous. So you have all these people doing this. Now, I just want to get on Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy, he predicted this months ago. And this is so true that he was saying, we are not running against, let me just share this tab with you. We are not running against a candidate. We are running against a machine. Now, and I'm not talking about just Democrats. I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans. This is a machine that we're going up against. And if we continue to vote the way we're voting blindly, the machine will take over. This is just like the Terminator. And you guys don't believe it. Look at what's happened to Joe Biden. Oh, Chawanne, you're lying. Look what's happening to Joe Biden. Your vote don't even matter. You voted him in the primary and they was like, to hell with you. It says the machine has crushed the will of everyday citizens in both parties, including Democrats. A lot of those Democrats are sick and tired of being lied to. Our message to them: you deserve a president. Let me just write this. You deserve a president and a party who tells you the truth. Democrats, the party lied to you in your face. They lied to mainstream media, and mainstream media lied to you. They knew something was wrong with Joe Biden. And now you're saying, okay, well, at least we got Black Kamala Harris. You're just going to ignore what the hell they did to you. And you're going to say, oh, we could get a Black president in office, a Black woman. And you ignore the main issue. They lied. They lied to you and took your vote and threw it away in the trash. This is not only Black folks. This is not only white folks. Everyone that voted for Joe Biden, they lied to you. This is what Vivek had to say.
So I think there are a lot of Democrats who may not look. I think the main message, Sean, is we are not even running against a candidate here. We are running against a machine. And that machine has crushed the will of everyday citizens in both parties. That includes Democrats. So I think there are a lot of Democrats who may not agree with everything that our party says or that Donald Trump says, but who are sick and tired of being lied to by their own leaders. And our message to those Democrats is this. You know what? You may not agree with everything Republicans say, but at least you deserve a party and a president who tells you the actual truth. And I think this could be a moment to win by an even larger margin by saying that, you know what, you're welcome in a Republican Party that may not agree with you on all policies, but is at least going to respect you and be honest with you, as it's now clear the Democratic elite has not been with their own voter base.
And I just got a message. You know, what he said is true, but we're talking about women. Women like getting lied to. You know, a guy that's cheating on, don't tell me the truth, because, you know, we love getting lied to. We fall in that perimeter, lie to me just as long as I feel good about it. Some men, we can't just say all women, but some men too. Just as long as I feel good about it, you don't have to tell me the truth, because, you know, the truth hurts my feelings. I want to feel good. And sometimes the truth is needed. This is why they don't like Donald Trump, because he's always telling the truth. And you don't like the truth. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle it. So this is so true what Vivek Ramaswamy was saying. One more clip that I want to play before I get to talk about. I think I'm going to do a whole day about Kamala Harris. I got to do some research, because it was a case that she dropped or let go, and this guy was he had like over 5,200 charges or some crazy stuff, and it had to do with Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, you know, he was on the Federal Reserve. He was the head of the Federal Reserve on the Trump administration. So, you know, they're all tied in together. Anyway, that's something. I think I'm going to do a whole show about Kamala Harris. Anyway, we have Jasmine Crockett and Joy Reid. Crockett, the idea of throwing out Joe Manchin and all these other people, if you all decide to go anywhere, I don't know what they're saying. If you all decide to go anywhere, or if you all decide to go the other way, have fun with that. The only person that I would get out and break my back for in this campaign is Kamala Harris. This is what Jasmine Crockett is saying. So, you know, the Black women are galvanizing themselves, garnering their support, or bringing up their support around Kamala Harris. Politics, identity politics. This is so sad. This is so sad. And it's really sad because we have this Black woman that's supporting Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris locked more Black men up more than Joe Biden. She directly affected Black men. And you're garnering your support or gathering your support around Kamala Harris. And you mad at black men when they say they ain't voting for Kamala. Anyway, this is her.
10 toes down with Vice President Kamala Harris to become the next president of the United States. I made it very clear very early. If Joe is out, there is only one person that I will be working for. So this idea of throwing out Joe Manchin and all these other people, listen, if y'all decide to go any other way, have fun with that. But the only person that I will get out there and break my back for and campaign for and believe in, who is capable and qualified, is Vice President Kamala Harris.
That's their sentiment, and I think she's lying. You're lying, Jasmine Crockett. Yo nigga ass gonna vote for anybody I tell you to vote for, because that's how Democrats treat you. If we put up Oompa Loompa in front of you and say, hey, this is your nominee, you're gonna campaign for him. Because you're stern Democrat. You believe and bleed blue, because that is your master. They haven't did anything for you. So if they put somebody else in front of you and say, this is the nominee, what is it today? July the 22nd at 1:57. Your ass is going to be like, oh, we're going to rally our support around Oompa Loompa. That's what you're going to do. So shut the hell up. Like you got to say so. Shut the hell up. You're lying. You're going to put your support around anybody they put in front of you. And you're going to shut the hell up and do what they tell you to do. Or you won't be in office. This is what I'm saying. Y'all tell me where I'm wrong. Like you got to say so. They already told you you don't have a say so. They already said that. They already proved to you. And you still, oh, I'm going to garner my support around. I'm endorsing Kamala Harris. After your vote didn't even matter in the Democratic Party. They're choosing for you. Chris, 40 million going right to her pocket. Yeah. She Kamala like, shit, I don't even need to run for election. I just retire right up here. Kamala don't need to run for the election. She got that $40 million about to go to the bank. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. That's, as the story develops and more nonsense come out against Kamala Harris, I'm going to post it and talk about it all this week, okay? This I really want to talk about. Now, this is about Trump's assassination. Cheadle she's the director of the Secret Service, did a horrible job in protecting our previous president. And she was stonewalling the questions today. She's in front of Congress right now as we speak, and she's stonewalling them. Nancy Mace, the representative, one of the representatives, had a chance to question her. And she went beast mode on Cheadle because she's full of shit.
July 15th.
This is what Nancy Mace, her line of questioning.
Answers. Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
I have always been
Yes
eager to
or no?
come
You didn't
and
want to
talk
answer
to
the question.
committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no.
Why? Why? The very next day, you should have. The internet has the footage. Why don't you have the footage? You don't have the list of the people that was working that day? Are you serious? This is a 24-hour turnaround. You should have that information.
No, you're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Come on.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee, no matter how
have you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
that. That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. You're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
and you have
she didn't.
Said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
Training,
examine.
execution, or both? Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right. How many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been?
You didn't fire not one person. What is wrong with it? What is something? Am I like crazy here? Back in the day, they didn't allow this to happen. Everyone would have got fired that was on that detail. Everyone, even the guy that took too long to take the shot, he would have got fired. Or put in somebody, behind the desk. He wouldn't have been able to do what? A real detail. Not the president's detail. Nobody got fired. Nobody.
Been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump.
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
She's incompetent. Either she's stonewalling, she's like stonewalling and she knows the answer, or she's a very incompetent person. You knew that they were going to ask these type of questions. Why even show up? Right now you look like an asshole. Like you're part of the problem. Like you planned this. Like you should be in jail right now. This is what it looks like to me. Did she actually plan this? Someone needs to investigate her. Make sure, see her phone records, because she act like she was part of this whole scheme to take out Donald Trump.
Of course, 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying timelines.
57 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
This is sick. This is sick. You didn't answer not one question. Sick. She didn't answer one question.
No matter how
one question. And, you know, since Joe Biden is not all there, remember when this happened the same day, or we're going to launch a full investigation. Well, you have the power to say, provide all the information to Congress. You have the power to dismiss her. And you didn't. So who's running the country, you guys? Who's running the country? Somebody put it in chat. Who's running the country? I would like to know. They're stonewalling Congress to investigate a assassination attempt on a former president and the future president. And the current president said, oh, we're going to launch an investigation and we want to see all this. And you're not even assisting in the investigation. You should fire this lady. Cheeto should not be able to have a job right now. At no place, no type of security job ever in her life again. She needs to go in some type of corner, make a YouTube channel about her failures as Secret Service. She got her job through, and I believe she received this job because Joe Biden wanted to be the most diverse cabin in the U.S. Oh, look, and you bragged about it. And you hired the most incompetent person for the job. And then you put incompetent people on the job. Very incompetent people. And we supposed to, as public, we're supposed to take what they're giving us.
And I believe around 8,000 employees.
This is Senator Comer. Or Representative Comer.
Around $3.1 billion, and I believe around 8,000 employees. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, there were many security failures on the day of the attempted assassination and leading up to that day. Let's start with the building that the shooter used to shoot President Trump from. At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure, as you can imagine, that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is factual.
You can't, okay. Why did the Secret Service not, can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Okay. Wasn't that building within the perimeter that should be secured? Do we agree with that?
The building was outside of the perimeter on the day of the visit. But again, that is one of the things that during the investigation we want to take a look at and determine whether or not other decisions should have been made.
One of the things that you said, I believe, in an interview, that there wasn't an agent on the roof because it was a sloped roof. Is that normal? And do you fear that that immediately creates an opportunity for future would-be assassins to look for a slanted roof? I mean, this is a huge question that every American has. Why wasn't a Secret Service agent on the roof? And there have been reports that agents were supposed to be on the roof, but it was hot that day and they didn't want to be on the roof. Can you answer any of those questions, Director?
So I appreciate you asking me that question, Chairman. I should have been more clear in my answer when I spoke about where we placed personnel in that interview. What I can tell you is that there was a plan in place to provide overwatch, and we are still looking into responsibilities and who was going to provide overwatch. But the Secret Service in general, not speaking specifically to this incident, when we are providing overwatch, whether that be through counter snipers or other technology, prefer to have sterile rooftops.
Did the Secret Service use any drones for surveillance that day?
So again,
what does sterile rooftops mean? What the hell does that mean? Oh, they prefer to have sterile rooftops. What does that mean? Does anyone know what? You're in the Secret Service. Your job is to protect whoever you're supposed to protect. Do you think the assassin is going up to say, oh, this is not a sterile rooftop? Let me just find another rooftop. No, they're going to find the most advantage point to take out their target. Like, really? Come on. Is this real? This is what I'm asking you. Is this real? Am I morphed into some other universe? Like, is this still the United States of America? Supposed to be the greatest country ever.
Again, I'm not going to get into specifics of that day in itself, but there are times during a security plan that the Secret Service does deploy an asset like a drone.
There were reports that the shooter used a drone just a few hours before the rally start time. Is that accurate?
I have heard those same reports, and again, am waiting for the final report.
Do you know, if you can't answer the question, that's your answer. But can you answer this? Do you know, I'm not asking yes or no, but do you know if the shooter used a drone before the shooting?
That information has been passed to us from the FBI.
How many Secret Service agents were assigned to President Trump on the day of the rally?
Again,
what's the answer? That information was passed to us from the FBI. Okay. Did she even answer the question? Or she doesn't believe the FBI now? Like, come on now. What is going on? What is going on with this lady?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the numbers of personnel that we had there, but we feel that there was a sufficient number of agents assigned.
There are reports that several agents assigned to the rally on July 13th were temporary agents, agents not normally assigned to President Trump. Is that accurate?
What I can tell you is that the agents that were assigned to former President Trump are Secret Service agents that provide close protection to him, and that was what was actual on that day.
How many temporary agents were there that day?
Quite frequently, sir, during campaign events, the Secret Service utilizes agents from HSI or the Department of Homeland Security.
You don't know how many?
Supplement
you can't answer?
our plan.
Have the investigators reconstructed the shooter's precise movements over the past days, weeks, and months?
So, again,
we need to have confidence that if the FBI is leading this investigation, that they're leading a credible investigation, because there's some of us sitting up here today that don't have a lot of confidence in the FBI. So I will repeat the question. Have the investigators reconstructed the shooter's precise moments over the past days, weeks, and months?
I understand your question, Chairman, and I share your concerns about wanting to make sure that we have factual information. The FBI is conducting a criminal investigation.
You know this is a lie. You know, they probably had him on some type of watch list. There was a whistleblower. Josh Hawley actually, he wrote Secretary Mayorkas in regarding to the whistleblower. It's Josh Hawley writes, I write to raise concerns brought to me by the whistleblower about your department's stunning failure to protect the former president. As Secretary of Homeland Security, you are ultimately responsible for your agency and its components, including the U.S. Secretary Service or U.S. Secret Service. Whistleblowers who have direct knowledge of the event have approached my office. According to the allegations, the July 13th rally was considered to be loose security event. For example, detections canines were not used to monitor entry and detect threats in the usual manner. Individuals without proper designations were able to gain access to backstage areas. Department personnel did not appropriately police the security buffer around the podium and were not stationed at the regular intervals around the event security's perimeter. In addition, whistleblower allegations suggest the majority of the DHS officials were not, in fact, Secret Service agents, but instead drawn from the Department of Homeland Security. This is especially concerning given the HSI agents were unfamiliar with standard protocol typically used at these types of events, according to the allegations. That's why you see those females, one female, when they started shooting, instead of bringing Donald Trump down and covering Donald Trump with her body, Donald Trump basically covered her because she was down on the floor praying to make sure she wasn't shot. And then when they ushered him to the car, you see the girl fumbling with her gun, trying to get it in the holster. This is especially concerning given the HSI agents were unfamiliar with the standard protocols typically used at these types of events, according to the allegation. And as a member of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, which has oversight jurisdiction over your department, I will continue to investigate your department's role in the staggering security failures on July 13th. And unfortunately, your department has not been appropriately forthcoming with the members of Congress, abruptly ending the only call with the U.S. Secret Service before most senators could even ask the question. This is completely unacceptable and contrary to the public interest in transparency. Instead, we have learned more from whistleblowers than your department official. I will continue to protect the confidentiality of all who contact my office and ensure that they receive full protection under the law. They want questions answered 7 days from now, which should be in a couple of days, because this letter was sent out July the 19th. So they have what? To the 25th, Friday. How did DHS determine the staff event, including any decisions to rely on state and local officials or officers? They want to know what percentage of the DHS agents at the event were from HSI rather than the Secret Service. Were majority of the officers at the event drawn from the HSI or the DHS components rather than Secret Service? If so, why? And, they were trying to remove his security. They said Donald Trump doesn't need security. They said JFK Jr. doesn't need security. They're trying to move their security detail away. This is prior to this attempt happening. Were agents not appropriately stationed around the podium? Did gaps exist in security perimeter, and were usual protocols followed for the canines and the magnetometers? I don't know. Were the standard protocols followed for issuing designated pins to vetted personnel that are allowed backstage? No, this is all no. They didn't do none of this shit. How long did the agents physically spend on the ground surveying the site before the event? Did any paperwork obligations prevent a longer and more robust site survey? I await your response. And he CC'd this to Kimberly Cheadle. Okay. He CC'd that. Is he going to get an answer? No, he's going to get an answer. Probably the same answer what she's doing now. Mayorkas, he was questioned on the border security. They don't give a shit. They don't care about Americans. They don't care. They want chaos. They want this country to be chaotic. Cause enough chaos so we could do what we need to do, and Americans will be focused on the chaos, like they're doing Joe Biden. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. I think he should have stepped down prior to running for the primaries. But they stabbed this guy in the back. They stabbed the American people in the back. So they create enough chaos and we could do what we need to do, and they don't know. So when they finally wake up and see the smoke is cleared, then all the Americans be like, oh, how the hell we get like this? You was focusing on this. This is a design plan. And I didn't say divine. I said design plan. This is what they want you to do or want you to be focused on.
The Secret Service is conducting an internal investigation. There are a number of OIG investigations, and there is the external investigation.
Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. If I was over the, whatever, if I was her, I would step down. But before I step down, I would have came to this and I would have had all the answers. All the answers they needed. I would have went out with a bang. And tell you the truth, Mayorkas, maybe they said she probably was asking Mayorkas, oh, we don't have enough security detail, whoever the higher up is. Just to use DHS. Well, they're not familiar. This is what I'm thinking. If she's the quote unquote right woman for the job, they're not familiar with our security protocol. They don't have any training on protecting individuals, blah, blah, blah. I would have ran down the list. Oh, use them anyway. I would have blasted them out on national TV. Hey, I quit anyway. They would get blasted out. And then I would have asked, hey, can I get security detail? Not the ones I sent to Donald Trump. Not those. Can I get some real security detail? Anyway. I want to show you one last line of questioning. This is AOC. AOC was even mad. AOC, the nuttiest person in Congress, was mad as hell because she said this was some bullshit. She even said it was bullshit. So this is her. This is her line of questioning.
That building was, you established earlier that the building upon which the shooter operated from was outside of that established perimeter, correct, for the Butler, Pennsylvania event?
It was outside of our secure perimeter, yes.
Now, that building was, I believe, 500, how far away was that building from the president?
It was approximately 200 yards.
200 yards. Now, the individual used an AR-15 in order to act out his assassination attempt. An AR-15 has a range of about 400 to 600 yards. My question is, why does the Secret Service perimeter, why is the Secret Service protective perimeter shorter than one of the most popular semi-automatic weapons in the United States?
There are a number of weapons out there with a number of ranges. Again, an advance was complete.
Excellent question, AOC. This is a popular weapon. Why would you have a perimeter shorter than the most popular weapon to commit assault on people, assassination? Usually assassination attempts is they're probably using some type of AR rifle, right? Long distance. You're not going to run up onto the guy and commit the assassination. It's going to be long distance.
Completed the determination of the perimeter. I'm not going to speak to specifics, but there are a number of factors that are taken into account when we determine our perimeter. Some of it has to do with terrain, some of it has to do with buildings, some of it has to do with assets and resources that are available.
And so what I'm hearing is that a perimeter was not established outdoors in an outdoor venue that would prevent an AR-15, which is one of the most common weapons used in mass shootings, from being able to be within the range of Secret Service protection.
A perimeter was established, and even though there were buildings that were outside of that perimeter, it wasn't just that building, there were a number of buildings in the area, and there was overwatch that was created to help mitigate some of those buildings.
You sound stupid. I want to go back to this one part.
An advance was completed. The determination of the perimeter, I'm not going to speak to specifics, but there are a number of factors that are taken into account when we determine our perimeter. Some of it has to do with terrain, some of it has to do with buildings, some of it has to do with assets and resources.
Some of it has to do with assets and resources. So Donald Trump, we don't have enough assets and resources, so we're going to be limited on our perimeters. Doesn't that sound ridiculous to you? Oh, we don't have enough resources. So your life potentially is on the thread because of our limited access and resource. Or what? Come on now. Our resources are limited, so we can't protect you that well. Sounds stupid. If that was the case, you think they would have changed the area further away from the building, the stage, and I'm talking about the stage, further away from these buildings to say, okay, the closest building is 600 yards. That's what they should have did. It's not like they was planning this event yesterday.
Resources.
So I guess it all depends on their resources if they're going to protect you or not. Sounds stupid to me. Sounds stupid. Exactly. This sounds so stupid. This is an inside job. This was an inside job. This was an inside job. Carl said, but we got 100,000 of billion, 100,000, hundreds of billion of other countries' wars. Nonsense. Yeah. And you don't have enough resources to protect one man. Just tell me anything. They think we're slow. It's crazy. You guys, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. That was it for today. You guys tune in tomorrow. We're gonna continue. If this investigation is still being streamed, we'll talk about that as well. And of course, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris. What other nonsense they're going to conjure up about Kamala. But I'm just warning these Democrats, I doubt if they nominate Kamala. I really doubt that. Anyway, I'm signing off. You guys, I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.